It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Sparty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Thursday morning to you. It is the 27th day of April, 2023. It is officially draft day all across the National Football League and across America. A moment in time in which it's going to set your franchise either forward or set it back a decade based on whomever you may select this evening. It's a very exciting day and happy to be with you. And, of course, that is going to be the bulk of the conversation here on this Thursday morning. It will be the 2023 NFL Draft. Andy Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well, from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Myers Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming at our YouTube page, Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Gentlemen, what's going on over there? How the hell are you this morning? Happy Thursday.
Anthony, I know we've had this discussion before, but listen, if Dylan Brooks is allowed to go just out there and just chuck the ball up all game, then I'm telling you, we could get one hoop.
Not only would you not get a hoop, you wouldn't get the ball over half court.
I'm not saying
we
would be the ball carrier. I'm saying I'm going to get a rebound, go up strong.
Not a chance. Not a chance. That ball would get blocked into your forehead and break your neck. Like you wouldn't have get a rebound? How would you get a rebound?
Nobody's under the basket. Are you? I'm going to hustle down.
Ridiculous.
Hustle back on defense.
That'd be like, yo, Scherzer's on the hill. Don't worry. You'll get a hit. It's the same concept. It's like you wouldn't be able to return.
It's not even close.
Yes, it is.
Shooting a basketball is infinitely easier than trying to hit a baseball.
You're trying to rebound a basketball against people that you have.
No, you said this was getting a shot off, not hitting a 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
You wouldn't. Okay, so Dan
it's not the same thing, Anthony. If we're doing this, it's not the same thing.
You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to get the ball. That's my point. Yeah, you're never going to be open to get the ball.
I would.
Can you grasp the concept of how large these people are?
Yeah.
Can you grasp the concept of what a 100-mile-per-hour fastball is?
Yeah.
I don't think you can. If you think shooting a basketball is the same, then you don't.
It's not just shooting a basketball.
That's what we are talking about.
Okay.
Sorry.
So let me explain it further. You're not just shooting a ball in an empty gym. You're trying to get a bucket on an NBA floor. It's never going to happen.
All Dan said was get a shot off.
Sorry, I was just.
And then you said, well, if you think you can hit Max Scherzer, that's not the same.
I was just
hitting the baseball is the hardest thing in sport.
Yes, I agree.
Obviously, you don't with the last 2 minutes.
Did I?
You did.
You wouldn't get a shot off. Period. You would not be able to. You wouldn't be able to score.
I was just trying to make a joke about how bad.
Not
Dylan
score.
Brooks
Dan
is,
just said simply get a shot off.
Dan, is that what you said?
Yes.
I don't know.
He said if Dylan Brooks is out there missing everything that wide open, we could get a shot off.
I don't know what I remember.
And I think if you just stood in the corner for 48 minutes of an NBA game, you could get one shot off.
Dylan Brooks is 6'7".
Oh, I'm not saying it would go far. I'm not saying you come close to the rim.
It would go far. As you got the shot up, it would go 48 feet behind you into some old lady trying to eat her popcorn, and the child would be there like, oh my God, Granny just got KO'd by the orange.
No, they would look at me like Caitlin Clark did. Just look at me in pain and go, go ahead. You have no chance of even hitting the rim.
Now, in that sport, absolutely. Absolutely you could, without question. But the NBA floor, It'd be like saying, yo, we're going to hand you the ball. You can gain 1 yard in the NFL. Wouldn't be able to do it. One touch, be over. You'd be going straight to the hospital. Do you think you could make it 208 feet across an NHL surface?
Is that the same as taking one shot?
I've never skated in my life, so absolutely
that's a
not.
No. That's a no. I'm not asking you to do anything. Just could you get across the ice in the NHL?
No. I couldn't even get off the bench trying to get over the bench.
Yeah.
We need to start there with NHL. Not could you do this, could you that? Could you successfully do a line change?
Could you hop over the wall?
That's where it starts with NHL.
Could you get over the boards and get out on the floor? Oh, Dylan Brooks. What a piece of work Dylan Brooks is. We'll get into that, but it'll be very, very mild from the NBA. And, obviously with Milwaukee getting sent home by Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat last night. Massive upset there as an 8 seed. For years, people thought, an 8 seed never wins. Like the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup as an 8 seed. Now, I'm not telling you that the Miami Heat as an 8 seed are going to win it all, but it just, I don't know. Like, I have to go back and look, but who in the 1979 NBA playoffs, the lowest seed possible was able to upset the number 1 seed? And that just goes like this.
But there haven't been until recently, there haven't been this many teams.
Right. So if the lowest seed to be in the playoffs is a 6 seed, have they ever beat a 1? Right? Well, it's the worst team to make the playoffs and upset the number 1 seed in the first round. It's rare that it ever happens, like the LA Kings. That's rare that you get an 8 seed that has some good goaltending, a little bit of puck luck, and just gets hot at the right time. Very rare, but at the same time, like, it's possible. And for the longest time in the NBA, it was like, okay, the 1 seed's going to win, and I could tell you it's going to be this team and that team at the end of the year that are going to play each other in the finals, and that just is not the case this season at all. Very excited for the NFL draft this evening. That'll be a very good time. I'm hoping that everyone likes all of the picks that every team makes and that all your dreams come true. But regardless, we're going to do that at Ford Field. TJ Lang was shocked yesterday on our video call. So I propped up the phone so that I could continue doing what I was doing. I just put my AirPods in so that I could hear the meeting. And then at that point, like, customers are looking at me all screwy and whatnot. And TJ's like, "Hey, Anthony." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you cutting meat right now?
Are you in a butcher's uniform?"
And I was like, "Yeah, pork chops." And he's like, "Oh, huh, okay." Just left it at that. I was like, yeah, here we are. We did it. We've done it. But I'm excited for tonight's event. Should be be a good time. I'll tell you this much.
I knew it was Al. Oh no, it was Sam.
Al?
Sam the butcher from Brady Bunch. It was Alice's. That's what I was going to call you.
Oh,
Alice's man friend later on. Sam the butcher. You remember that?
No, not for the Brady Bunch. I never watched it. I couldn't get through the commercial, like the intro to it. Swear to God. after all the pictures would flip on the screen, the 9 photos or whatever, and the Brady Bunch in the middle, that was it. That's all I wanted to see. I couldn't watch it. Couldn't watch the show.
What? Okay.
Is that not weird?
Pork chops and applesauce.
All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, were the Tigers good or bad yesterday? Plus, draft day, obviously, Stanley Cup NFL playoffs. Ted Albrecht will join us. Is there an opportunity the Lions might bulk up on their offensive line? If so, could that guy be from Northwestern? Ted Albrecht is the analyst there for the Wildcats football team. Martin O'Donnell from Illinois to talk about Devin Witherspoon. That'll be a good time. And, of course, your calls as well, 248-951-2176. Back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Danny Kaelin, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. An absolute pleasure to be with you. Big games last night across the playoffs, and of course the big one tonight, which is where NFL GMs will make their hay or make their bed and figure out a way to get fired. That's usually how this goes. Should be a lot of fun though this evening, and we'll get to that coming up next. But first, the Tigers. What's his name for the water boy? The guy who played, was it Rob Schneider? Oh no, we suck again. Are we going to do that all season? The Brew Crew beat the Tigers 6-2 is your final score there for the Tigers. Their final game on the road against Milwaukee in this series. Not terrible though. I mean, they take the series, so that's good. They won games 1-2, 4-2, and 4-3 before yesterday's defeat in front of allegedly 25,000 fans. Just had a good fourth inning. Hey, shout out to Akil Badu. Huh? How about Akil? He had a double that scored Mayton. That was nice. And a run scored, but that was really it. Lorenzen's line, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs. All 5 were earned. He did walk 2, struck out 5, gave up a home run, threw 100 pitches in 5 innings, 63 for strikes. You know what? That's not a little more hits.
He was not good yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, final line isn't terrible.
Well,
was he though?
He wasn't good. Considering in his first 2 starts, he's given up 11 earned runs, getting the team out into a huge hole at the beginning of both of his games that he started. For a team that can only win games if they score 3 or 4 runs, and you're down 5-0 in the third.
Not good.
So
3 for 12 with runners in scoring position yesterday were the Tigers.
Oh, they're the worst team in the league. I'm going to look it up real quick. Because they're the worst team in the league with runners in scoring position.
They have to be. Yeah, they have to be that. And I also wonder what is their average in extras, right? Because even in games that have gone extra innings, it's like, dude, we got a guy that automatically starts on second base. Like, how can we not get that guy in? The Team K number way too high again, back into double digits with 11. 1 from McKinstry, 1 from Scope, 1 from Mayton, 1 from Nevin, 2 from Carpenter, who was 0 for 4. Oh no, Carey. 2 from Torque, he was also 0 for 4. Average dropped to 218.
They are 29th out of 30 with runners in scoring position. 198.
The A's got to be the worst.
The Padres.
What?
196 with runners in scoring position, yes.
Well, I mean, hang the banners. Had a better average with risk.
Compared to the Rangers, 360. Insane.
Oh, man, don't allow any base runners there. Torque 0 for 4, 2 Ks. Akil Badu 2 for 4 with an RBI, the run scored, and a strikeout. And Vierling was 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts as well. So, once again, team strikeout number, having some trouble there. Not great. But it's one game. It's one game, and I'm trying to remember what John Wagner said because, we can't. According to Mr. Wagner, you can't find anything out till the holiday. And once you get to the holiday, then you might have a better grasp of who this team might be. And 9-14. It's not terrible. You just got to stay within striking distance. You stay within 5 or 7 games of the first place team in your division. I think that's pretty good. Will they be there come the holiday? I don't know. Be there during, that 4th of July? I don't know. Trade deadline?
Right now, yeah, Tigers are only 4 games back of the Twins. The Twins did something they haven't done since 2001. That was win a series versus the New York Yankees.
The Twins hadn't won a series against the Yankees in 22 years?
The season series.
Right.
Yeah.
That is just preposterous. The hell have they been doing out there?
Nothing.
Well, it's just like the Angels they have the Tigers number. Like, we just do not play well in Anaheim.
But win a series in 21 years? That is god awful. Now, the Tigers just played the Orioles. They got beaten 3 consecutive games. That's the bad news. AL East team comes to town. That's not great. Tonight, 6:40, first pitch. That is great. Wonder what the attendance is going to be and what the traffic might be like downtown, because these are the things that I have to concern myself with. But as far as, and I want to know this too, from a working standpoint, how have these 6:40 start times been?
Oh, it's great. There haven't been really too many so far, because early on in the season they're playing day games at Comerica Park. So, I mean, there's probably only been 3 or 4, but yeah, I love it. We'll see what happens, like in 5 or 6 weeks when the days are really, really long and there's a short game on a Friday, what they're going to do with the fireworks. Like, are they going to wait a half hour? Or are they just going to say, yeah, it's not really dark out yet, but we got to do these fireworks?
I mean, look, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Like, you don't have to even have them. Think about all the money you could save by not shooting fireworks. Like, do people actually say, I want to go to the game because of the fireworks?
People absolutely go to the games for the fireworks. Oh, we went for the Friday fireworks all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Specifically for that?
I mean, we went to so many baseball games.
It's an added bonus.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a Friday night. Everyone can stay up a little later.
Fireworks nights are the
worst. Take the kids out to fireworks.
Oh, fireworks are great for us. Well, maybe not for you, but I'm out of the ballpark and everybody's still in the ballpark watching fireworks.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're trying to get out. Like,
yes, that's the best part about it for us.
It's a great, great move there. If you have to work the game in any sort of in-game entertainment capacity, fireworks are the absolute worst. It would take like 15, 20 minutes, maybe minimum, before you could start the fireworks, and it's just like, oh, just go out there and ad lib. Like, what? You're gonna go out there and talk on a microphone for 15 straight minutes? 12,000 people standing elbow to elbow in the middle of July. Like, okay, this is a good plan. This is gonna work out great. Hey, folks, a reminder, it happened last night. It's going to happen again this evening. The NBA playoffs, and that means big hoops action over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins, plus everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, don't worry. You'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. We're back with more. It's NFL Draft Night. Don't go anywhere. We want all your thoughts next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
For a lot of us, music and mental health are intertwined. That's why the Collaborative Lab created InTune, a free live stream event, and you're invited. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day, so take action for your own mental health by joining us from 7 to 9 p.m. Musical performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to learn how you can join the party for free. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, so the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police has a few tips for you. Keep your eyes off of your phone, off of your touchscreen, and off of your passengers. And keep your hands on the wheel. Simple, right? Yet every day, 8 people are killed in distracted driving accidents. Wherever it is you're going, we would like you to get there. And so would everyone else on the road.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Golf season is here. My buddy Matt Golden and his team are ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort Canadian Lakes offers 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's up north golf without the drive, and it has the lodging to be able to cater to you, your partner, your foursome, up to 400 of your closest friends and family. Tullymore not only features top-line golf, but also top-line accommodations and the perfect spaces for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. So it is draft night. We are officially, finally here. Logan Lamorandier will join us coming up at 7:35 to discuss the Detroit Lions. Ted Albrecht, Northwestern's analyst, to talk about Pete Skoronski and where he might fit if he's around there at 18. Martin O'Donnell, Illinois analyst, will join us on Devin Witherspoon and whether or not that's going to be a good fit. I feel like we know a little bit about him, but how about learn a little bit more? And this is something that I'm going to bring up to Logan, and I'll pitch it out to all of you as well. I know it's early in the morning to think about something like this. It's a big brain concept here. Do you think that if you're Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions, because we've talked a lot this week about how this year's draft is different than in recent years, right? And probably different in a very long time, because the Lions were right there on the cusp of making the playoffs. And now we know that this roster is good enough to win that many games. So do you feel like there is more pressure to get this draft right, knowing that one or two guys could massively change things for next year? Or do you think that there's actually less pressure because you might be able to take a stab at somebody who, at 18 maybe wasn't that high up on your board? As much as I'd like to say, hey, let's say C.J. Stroud's S2 score is true, and he scored an 18. According to the Athletics article and reading more about the S2 and what it is, it's very much different than the Wonderlic because it's not like written questions. What we're doing here is we are trying to find a red diamond on the screen in a certain amount of time, locate the red diamond amongst a plethora of other shapes and colors, right? Then we might put all red diamonds on the screen, but, we need to see which red diamond is missing which corner piece, which side is missing, left, up, down, right, And they throw these images at you at a ridiculous speed. Now, according to the creators of the test at Vandy, nobody scores higher than baseball players. And it makes total sense because your ability to be able to find the ball out of the pitcher's hand, locate it, digest the information that's coming at you. While it's coming at you, this is either 95 or it's 75. It's either coming right down the middle or it's going to start at my eyeballs and drop down to my socks. Like the ability to process that and then to fire your hands and get everything in motion makes total sense. Quarterbacks are next. You know what comes up after quarterbacks as far as who scores the best in the NFL? Safeties. I thought that was pretty interesting. Quarterback of the defense, right? Makes sense. Then corners and linebackers. You're talking about people that got to process a whole bunch of information. You're a safety in the opposition's in 11 personnel, meaning that they have 3 wide receivers. You're back there and you're looking, you're going through your own, as we always talk about the quarterback progression as a safety, we're looking at all of our own progression, right? Where are my wide receivers? Where's the tight end? Who's in the backfield? What are our possibilities now that I'm standing 15, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage? How fast sometimes do I need to get up to be able to play the ball? Or am I within first down range because of the defense that we called? Do we need to make an adjustment here based on what I'm seeing and based on what I have seen on film for this opponent. So it would make sense that safeties would have a very high score with quarterbacks as well, because you're talking about people that are training to process a mass amount of information in a split second, basically. And so these if S2 scores come out, whether they're real or not, we have no idea. The information is, shared with the league. Those folks know. And in the most Ohio State way possible. Did you guys see any of C.J. Stroud's commentary yesterday? I don't think he falls to the Lions at 6. I really don't. But did you see anything that he said yesterday?
We're not here to play school.
I mean, good God, kid. Take Cardale Jones and just run with it. Here's what C.J. Stroud had said about the leaked test score.
I'm not a test taker, so I play football for me. But at the end of the day, man, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, so I'm not going to sit here and explain how I process football.
Okay, let's stop it right there. At the end of the day, I'm not a test taker. I play football. To a certain extent, I can understand some of the sarcasm there, but at the same time, you should know your most recent history with the way that went over with Cardale Jones. I ain't here to play no school. You're not a test taker? Like,
okay.
how did you pass
Anthony,
any classes?
I love that you think, like, I love when people say that sort of thing. The Cardale Jones thing was 7 years ago.
He was a good student too. Like that's the thing.
C.J. Stroud was 12 years old when that happened. Like that's my point. Like people.
I'm glad you said that.
That is like.
I'm glad you said that, because yesterday somebody was appalled that I didn't know something from like 1963. They couldn't believe how. It's not that I was 12 years old when it happened. That's not it. It's that I was negative 24 years old. That's what it was. 1963. You're talking about something my parents lived through. Like, what? So I am glad that you present it that way. And I know I get it. I like C.J. Stroud as a quarterback. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yeah, you do. Like, your test is going to be every single Sunday for however many years. And you absolutely have to prove everything to everybody. All you've ever done is not win the Big Ten championship. You think the Big Ten's the NFC North? You think Patrick Mahomes plays in the Big Ten? Like that, it's serious. I know we had a really good game against Georgia. I'm aware of that. He also had really, poor games early on, but not too many of them where it's like, oh, this is a giant blemish. Like the problem is with C.J. Stroud.
You look
Ohio
at his
State.
numbers for C.J. Stroud. You look at all his numbers from his games. Box score, it's like, oh, this was a good game. Then you watch the game, you're like, That's how I felt about him at Ohio State. Just
Was it a good game, or is it the fact that Ohio State has had some really good wide receivers who happen to be running wide open down the field? Now, ball placement, very good. You can have somebody streaking down the field. If you can't throw that football in the garbage can, I don't know what to tell you. And C.J. Stroud can locate it, man. I mean, he can throw an absolute dart. Doesn't matter where. I mean, the guy can throw it. So I like that about him. But this whole, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yeah, you do. In fact, it's even worse now than it was at Ohio State. And I know that some people are going to say, oh, the standard at Ohio State. And the standard at Ohio State is drunk. We get it. We get it. They've had some success. They got a national championship. I'll give them that. They beat my team for like 30 years straight. Okay. But Purdue ain't coming out there on Sundays to play football. There's no Illinois. Like, you always have something to prove. And mine's more of just like a wordage and jargon stickler here. Because, yeah, you haven't done anything yet. Like, great. Your career at Ohio State, had you beaten Georgia, would have been leaps and bounds different, because you probably beat TCU as well. But you didn't. And so you didn't beat Michigan. You didn't win a Big Ten championship. Like, failure. More from Mr. Stroud.
The people who are making the picks know what I can do. So that's all that matters to me. There's a whole bunch of people who know how to coach better, know how to play quarterback better, know how to do everything on social media, but a man in the arena, that's what's tough, is stepping in the arena 10 toes. So, and I'm going to stand on that. And I know what I can do. I know I can process well. I know if I'm not the smartest quarterback in this draft, I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL when I step in there tomorrow. So
if I'm not one of the smartest quarterbacks in this draft, I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. I know I'm nitpicking here, but good God, man. Ohio State, man, what you guys need to do is hire someone to take these kids through this process. They probably already do, but that's just ridiculous. How are you not? If I'm not one of the smartest quarterbacks in this draft, I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. Everybody who's there is probably better than you, purely based on experience. The National Football League. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, it's like a freshman talking smack about playing varsity. Like, relax, would you? Please. A lot of cliches. Man in the arena, 10 toes. He's 10 toes down. I don't know. Standing there, 10 toes. And he stands on that. So is he standing on that, on his 10 toes? So if he's in the arena, is that, whatever that is, on top of the arena, and then he's 10 toes on top of that?
Yeah, but you can't judge just C.J. Stroud on using the cliches, because that's every athlete. It is. You can judge him for, I'm not a test taker. I'll be one of the best QBs in the NFL if day one I step in. But you're going to judge him on the cliches, then no athlete ever should be talking ever again by those standards.
All of it. All of it. Like in 45 seconds, I'm like, man, I kind of liked it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know about this guy. A 15-minute interview. All you have to do.
For you, it's not just a 15-minute interview. It's been 2 years for you. It's been 2 years for a lot of people in the Big Ten that have watched C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. And Ryan Day talked about how because you don't, in today's game, you really don't have any depth. He said that. He's like, you don't really have any depth anymore in today's game. And so if you have C.J. Stroud, why didn't we run him more? We didn't run him more to protect him. And it makes total sense. He's like, we lose C.J., we probably lose our season at that point. And it's like, that's a really good point because, I mean, look at the guy who was supposed to be backing him up. He left. Went to go quarterback Texas. So we find ourselves in a very, very peculiar state where Ryan Day was openly honest about, hey, when people are, why didn't they run him more against Michigan? You can't run him like, maybe if that's the game with all the meat and the potatoes on it, maybe you go for it a little bit more in that game. Maybe. I don't know. Because if you lose C.J. Stroud, you're going to lose to Georgia, so what's the difference anyways? But it's an interesting revelation here for college football coaches that building depth is an issue. I mean, look at Michigan, for example. Just lost R.J. Moten and Nakai Hill-Green. Guys that both saw time. R.J. Moten went up to hit Alex Orji, the third-string quarterback, got absolutely leveled by Alex Orji. Oh, my God. That guy looks like a machine out there. He looks like a linebacker playing quarterback. And Nakai Hill-Green, he's a guy who got minutes last year. And now they're gone. Look at Colorado after their spring game. A mass exodus of Buffaloes. Looking like the prairie out there. Buffalo's running wild. Those kids, we got guys re-entering the transfer portal in Colorado. So depth is an issue at the collegiate level. How that changes coaching strategies. How do you weigh what that individual was able to do within that offense? And who their competition is. Those are the things that we are looking for. But when I read more about this S2 test, and I'm like, man, they might be onto something. The higher your S2 score, I forget if it's like if you finish in the top 90th, what is it? 80's a good score on this test. If you finish like 90 or above your passer rating, that's the way it trends. We only have 7 years worth of data, but 7 years worth of data, the higher your S2, the higher your passer rating. You want to know who had a really good S2 score last year? You'll never guess what quarterback. Really good. I'm talking, they referred it to like Br0's level of S2 score. Cognitive testing.
Last year.
Won 2 playoff games. Came in as a backup.
Oh.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's S2 score was allegedly off the charts. And it's like, well, then, yeah, maybe there is something to this. Maybe this is better than the Wonderlic. Like, the Wonderlic's like, what's the 8th month of the year? August. Okay, like, how does that apply? But here are a group of images at a high-speed rate, which is simulating basically what you're seeing and how you're processing information, how quickly you can do it. Maybe they're onto something. 14 different teams have hired this company. 14 different franchises have hired this company to work directly with them. Outside of the whole broad, you're going to test everybody as soon as they're eligible at the combine. We're going to work individually with teams now. It's crazy what they're. Ooh. All right, so and we're going to have some actual football too. This is all fun and games. You got all you CJ Stroud. You come out here, look very excited about the draft. How do you feel about the S2 score that got leaked? Boy, pardon me. Trying to swallow one down the wrong pipe. Usually I'm pretty good at hitting mute there. But hey, took the test. I thought the test was a lot of fun. I had a great time. In fact, I'd like to take it again. I saw the score that was released. That wasn't the score that I was told that I had. So, but that's fun, and that's all fun and games, man. I'm really excited. I can't wait to hear my name called, and a dream of mine, and be able to walk across that stage. Can't wait to get my hands on the playbook. I've already got plans. All my bags are packed. Whoever drafts me, I'm going to that city tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. Just go that way. Like, how excited I am, and I can't wait to meet the other quarterbacks on the team, to be able to sit down and film rooms. Dude, you can win over fan bases like that. Like that. And if you're just like a little bit honest, if you have a little bit of that feeling, you're going to be golden. Golden. But you want to stand up there talking about, okay. All right. Good luck. Wish you the best. Wish you the best. Got a test coming up next Sunday. Hope you study for it. All right. We're going to step aside when we return. Hour number 2, Logan Lamorandier, Double L might, he told me this, might want a quarterback at 6. Hold on to your butts. So I'm going to ask him. Anthony's jumping on this story because Brock Purdy scored the best and an Ohio State quarterback didn't. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing literally at all to do with that. 0.0%.
Well, because most of us, don't think they're going to go anywhere near a quarterback, right?
Ooh, the Lions?
Early. So it's not really relevant to us.
Oh, well, no.
If C.J. Stroud is sitting there, I think this is relevant.
Yes, if C.J. Stroud is sitting here, this is very relevant. This changes everything.
I don't think the Lions are interested in Anthony Richardson, because that doesn't match up with Jared Goff's style of play. And from what I've heard from a bunch of analysts and everything, it sounds like Will Levis to the Colts is locked in.
We'll be right back with Hour 2 next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Godsmack. live and in your face. Friday, May 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino, plus Bad Wolves. And same show, same night, Bullet for My Valentine. Tickets start at $28, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. Godsmack, May 26th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com. At MHSAA on Twitter and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here this Thursday, the 27th day of April, 2023. It is NFL Draft Day. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Share your thoughts. Sports Radio. Send it to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at MichiganSportsNetwork.com. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Look, my buddy Chris, listening to the show, sent me a great interview with one of the creators of the S2 score. And in relation to, now he can't say anything because of, the legal ramifications. They can't share the test scores. But he said one of the things that I really took away from this in regards to this S2 score is the context in which when you take it, right? So player had gotten in late, hungry, not in the right mindset, maybe fatigued from the schedule a little bit. And after he scored, said, don't worry, we'll get back to you and do it again. And after they did it again, the second time, better mind frame, better result. I think it's interesting. Maybe it's too early for a big brain question, asked Bob Quinn when he went into a draft knowing they were ready to win and using a draft to take a player. Do you think that during Dan Ryan, do either of you believe that Bob Quinn was in the same situation in any of his drafts as Brad Holmes is in this situation? Was there anything remotely close? Did you feel as confident going into those drafts?
Confident? No.
Do you feel confident in this team as of today, before you've even made a selection?
I am confident in Brad Holmes. I am not confident in this draft. Just because I have no idea what the hell the Lions are going to be facing at 6.
I think this might have been a little bit of a mockery to me saying it was a big brain question, but it is something, food for thought. So I'll ask this, and you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that there is more pressure on Brad Holmes to get this draft right, knowing where this team is at, and the fact that one guy, could that be the difference maker that gets them
No, I think no.
over the top?
No.
Or is there less pressure because you know that this team won that many games last season?
I think
and they're going to be good regardless.
I don't know about. Don't say that. I think the pressure is not on the Lions because the Lions are sitting pretty right now, and everybody knows it. So the Lions could take the pick, or they could trade out of that pick. If hopefully somebody's quarterback that they need this year is still there. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
The two things that scare me, on one, Colton Pouncey unleashed his fear yesterday with his quote, is that, the Lions fans are having a fear if they draft Witherspoon or Gonzalez that he's the next Jeff Okudah, which, yes, I do have a fear of that. Or a fear we've brought up if Jalen Carter's sitting there and you drafted the next Nick Fairley. It's not fair to those prospects, not fair to Brad Holmes because those guys didn't make those picks, but we lived through it.
Ooh. Man. Or if you're afraid of him being Nick Fairley, so you pass on him, and then he becomes Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Oh, Brad Holmes. The S2 score means nothing when it comes to talent. Brock Purdy was the very last pick of a draft, and with his S2 score, he was one pick from being drafted, and if not drafted and went to free agency, never would have picked San Francisco because the other two quarterbacks already there competing before their injuries. So if he went elsewhere and not even played as a seventh rounder free agent quarterback, to be clear, I don't want C.J. Stroud unless Brad Holmes says they want him. I don't even know what I just read. Outside of the fact was that he was one pick away from being drafted and one from being a free agent. Correct. And why do you think San Francisco was able to roll through three quarterbacks? Because they had the team built around him.
Why do you think San Francisco drafted him?
Because they have injury-prone quarterbacks.
Because also, if it got to a point where Brock Purdy was a unrestricted free agent or an undrafted free agent, they're like, we don't know if we can land him in that market.
How could he not? He had Matthew Stafford. You got to get over Matthew Stafford, man. It's 2023. Like, this is it. Okay, let's make a pact. Can we make an agreement here? On this day of the year of our Lord, 2023, on April 27th, draft day, because the sixth pick in this year's draft is via the LA Rams due to the Matthew Stafford trade. Once that sixth pick is made, can we drop the Matthew Stafford stuff? It's over. It's been over. A couple years now. He's already proven you he can win a Super Bowl when you have the talent around him. That is indisputable fact. He won the Super Bowl with the talent around him. That's the statement. That is factual. Go look it up. They actually won the Super Bowl in their home city. How fun is that? So we make this selection. And then, yes, Matthew Stafford played for the Detroit Lions for a decade. Then he was traded. And we could be done. We could be all done. I don't know what you expected him to do with the arguably the slowest defense that's ever been assembled in National Football League history. But neither here nor there. We'll just let it go. It's over. It happened. We can just move forward. I'm not picking up the C.J. Stroud S2 score because C.J. Stroud played at Ohio State. I really don't care. I watch him throw absolute darts all over the football field. I find it interesting in Ryan Day's comments yesterday about C.J. Stroud and the fact that because of depth issues in today's college game, maybe a little fearful to run him. Newsflash. I actually prefer Ryan Day's pro-style offense versus Urban Meyer's. I got a quarterback, and I'm just going to try to out-athlete people because we know that that doesn't work at the NFL level. So maybe we might be onto something that is better for the player at the National Football League level under Ryan Day than under Urban Meyer. Whether they can beat Michigan or not, it doesn't matter. Like this conversation is completely independent of that. You can beat Michigan 800 times. You got a running quarterback. They're usually pretty good in college. You got a guy with wheels. They're usually pretty good athletes. And at the collegiate level, the team with more athletes usually wins the game. That's why Alabama never loses Cupcake Week. Never. That's why spreads are 20, 28, 36, 44. That's what the spreads are. You don't see that in the NFL. They're 3.5, 5.5, 6. You see a line that's 9, 10, up there. It's like, whoa, that's a massive spread in the NFL. 9 or 10 is a conference game in college football. The disparity in talent in college football is ridiculous. It's not that way in the NFL. I'm interested in it because what does the S2 test? How does that correlate? What is the trend here for those who do well and those who do not score well? And Brock Purdy's a pretty good example of somebody who, based on the conversation of you can't take a quarterback later on in the draft, the actual last pick in the draft won not one, but 2 playoff games. Why did that happen? He's got the team around him. It's built. No quarterback is going to go out there and resurrect the franchise by himself. Like, you have to have guys in all three phases of the game. You have to. It's a must. All right, we're going to step aside. We'll do Lions trivia, get you caught up on the Stanley Cup playoffs and the NBA playoffs last night. The biggest upset in NBA history in the playoffs. How crazy is that? Plus, Logan Lamorandier. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Did you know that churches, businesses, schools, and sporting events need to be safe? Of course you did. But did you know where many of those groups and organizations turn to make sure their safety measures are current and comprehensive? Their local Michigan Police Department. That's where. We all want to be safe, and we can bring in the experts by starting the conversation with our local police department. Contact them today to find out more.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros. A lot of Uchi Wally here lately, Dan. Put you in a good mood, though. I can dig it. It is draft day 2023. Who will be the Lions selection later on tonight? Oh, my God. Oh, man. All right, so we're going to get to our Detroit Lions trivia. A couple of texts here. So Trey Lance doesn't suck, right? Because he never got hurt. He wins 2 playoff games last year, too, right? Or if he never gets hurt, TS, they don't trade for McCaffrey. Well, as I like to say, if my aunt was born with a bigger package, she'd be my uncle. But she wasn't, so she ain't. If this, if that, if that's, look at what happened. And we don't know what Trey Lance does. We don't know what he does. Gets injured. We know that. We don't know if he has the success that Brock Purdy does. And you'll never know. You'll never be able to know. You can wonder for as long as you want. And it can drive you crazy. Drive you off a cliff. But it doesn't matter because you'll never know the answer to that question. Maybe Trey Lance comes in this year, has an all-pro season, leads them to a Super Bowl. Boom. Trey Lance is your guy. That's it. I can't imagine hitching my wagon to Zach Wilson, Malik Willis, and Trey Lance, though. Wow, what a trifecta that is. Holy mackerel. No, I'm telling you, Quinn always knew they could win because he had Stafford. What? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to play some defense. You got to get a stop. Michigan fan here. If the Lions draft Stroud tonight, expect a large portion of the fan base to burn their gear. That comes from Doug. Doug, don't burn your gear. We've already drafted. We beat them. Michigan beat them. What are you worried about? Doug, separate your college and your professional fandom.
Doug, a guy that is helping to potentially draft C.J. Stroud went to Ohio State, and you probably loved him.
Uh-oh. Doug.
And you can get best of both worlds where you can root for C.J. Stroud as a Lion, knowing your college team kicked his ass twice. That's the best feeling in the world. Like, hey, I kind of like this guy, but, you know, when he, like, that's why I had conflicting feelings about Aiden Hutchinson. He did really well against Michigan State.
He did really well for the Lions, too.
But,
wow.
Yeah, but it kind of supersedes that because guess what? He's not there anymore.
That's right.
But also, you get to enjoy those. You can rewatch those 2 games every year of the week leading up to it. Just go to YouTube. You sit there. You need to waste an hour at the office on like a Thursday at 3:30. Put on that YouTube clip and just rewatch those.
Ryan's never
done
that. An hour. Sure.
Never done that in my life.
Doug, bring it in here, Doug. Bring it in. Bring it in. Like, you gotta get over that. You just gotta separate the two. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, they're not the same. Whoever plays, Jeff Okudah, another good example. Did you want Jeff Okudah to flame out because he went to Ohio State? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You don't want anything to happen to Taylor Decker because he went to Ohio State, because that doesn't make any sense. Think about Chris Spielman. The boys just referenced him. Chris Spielman, one of the great Lions of all time. Ohio State pumps out good players. There's nothing wrong with drafting an Ohio State guy. I got no problem with that at all. It's fine because, once again, we're going and looking forward to somebody helping our program. That's what we're looking for. All right, it's hour 2. It is segment 2, which means it's time for Detroit Lions trivia. I gave away a good draft day trivia question earlier on. I don't want to go back and repeat it. I'll tell you what it is, though. Do you guys remember the question about what NFL franchise has drafted the most Heisman winners? And do you remember the number of Heisman winners selected?
No, I don't.
Oh, wow. The Detroit Lions with 10.
Let's say I knew the Lions had drafted 10. I remember that. I didn't know it was the most.
Yeah, true story. All right, our real trivia question today. What Pro Football Hall of Fame guard we might be going offensive line? Could it be Skoronski from Northwestern? He wore uniform number 63 for the Lions from 1952 until 1955. Impossible.
I'll go with your uncle, Don Johnson.
That is incorrect. It's good. Any idea, Dan?
Alex Karras.
Oh, man. Correct answer is Dick Stanfield.
Say that name again.
Dick Stanfield?
Okay.
Stanfel? You recognize it?
Nope.
I don't either. Probably a war veteran. 52 to 55. Might be worth looking up. Might get a good artist drawing of him. Might be able to get one of those. All right, so last night, it isn't just the NFL draft that is taking place, although tonight all eyes are on that. We did have lots of action across the board. First off, Kawhi Leonard has been diagnosed with a torn meniscus. Sources confirm. Unfortunate situation here with Kawhi that the guy just can't stay healthy. He never does. They try everything. He works out. He rehabs. They load manage. It doesn't matter. Guy just gets hurt. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality of the situation. And you got availability is an ability. The New York Knicks, even though they lost Julius Randle last night in the second quarter, went on to win 106-95 in Cleveland to shut the door on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boy, the Cavs fans in the chats, they were very upset. Blow this team up. We were duped. We don't know. Our star is a fraud. Oh, I mean, they were going crazy. I'm like, look. The one guy did say something pretty good. He's like, we made the play-in game, and all of a sudden we thought we were closer than we were. We made their big men look like they had Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, blah, blah, blah. All right, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were terrible. You know, there's not really a whole lot. But Garland, LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, that's a good backcourt core right there. They just got to figure out what to do in the front court and how they're going to defend better. But they made the play-in game. They went for it. They went and got Donovan Mitchell. It just didn't work out. Jalen Brunson. Wow, Dallas, what did you do letting him walk away? Memphis beat the Lakers last night, 116-99. Uh-oh. LeBron James said he'll be better next game. He was 5 of 17, 1 of 9 from 3. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists for him. Anthony Davis with 31 and 19. Oh, boy. But, you know, you shoot 40% from the field, 25% from three-point line. That's not going to do very well. Hey, how about the Spartans? Xavier Tillman, 8, 6, and 4 for him. Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 and 10 for him, along with a couple of blocks. That's always nice. And then the backcourt was just way, way, way too much. Ja Morant had 31. Desmond Bane had 33. They're going to be tough to beat.
Desmond Bane was going nuts last night.
Nutty.
Team would be much more likable if you just get rid of Dillon Brooks and if Ja Morant had a curfew.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of out on Ja Morant.
I was too when all this news broke out this season. Like, I really want to like Memphis because they have Tillman and Jackson. But it's like with Dillon Brooks and Ja Morant's, you know, Grand Theft Auto lifestyle.
Wannabe.
Yeah. It does make them easy to root for.
Jimmy Butler and the Heat eliminated the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks in an OT stunner, the fourth largest upset in NBA history, which, by the way, for context purposes, the Heat winning in 5 against the no one seed, I think that's pretty good.
I'd say the Baron Davis Warriors is the number one, isn't it?
The number one is the Nuggets defeating the Sonics. They were minus 2,000 in 1994. Warriors Mavs in 2007. They were minus 1,800. And 76ers over the Bulls in 2012, minus 1,400.
I believe that Warriors Mavs, that was a sweep.
I don't know. It's a good question. Jimmy Butler, though, however, lights out again. Too good. Playoff Jimmy's here. 42 after scoring 56 the night before. Incredible. Golden State, 123-116 winners on the road. They take the series lead 3-2. Looking forward to Game 6 back at the Chase Center. I mean, De'Aaron Fox still playing with that broken finger. He was money last night. Still scored 24. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Talk to Logan Lamorandier next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Got any plans for Mental Health Action Day? You do now. Join us online on Thursday, May 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. for In Tune, a free live stream event featuring performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to find out how you can log in and join the celebration for free. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day. Take action. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org and join the celebration.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddie's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddieThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddieThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
One of the great sounds for football fans everywhere. It is finally here, the 2023 NFL Draft, and who better on draft day to spend a little bit of time with us, but one of our good friends joins us all throughout the football season, covering the Detroit Lions for all Lions. Our good buddy Logan Lamorandier. Find him on Twitter if you're not following him already. What are you doing with your life? At L Lamorandier. Logan, my friend, first and foremost, happy draft day to you, partner. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Yes, happy draft day. My favorite day of the year. And this year is a little bit different than most other years in the past. You know, the Lions got a lot to play for this upcoming season. And for so many years, I felt like this day was always just a highlight of the season. And yes, it's definitely still a ton of fun, but I think there's a ton to look forward to next season as well and down the line. So it's just a good day. It's nice to have some football, some actual like NFL real news, not just a bunch of rumors and what's going to happen, what could potentially happen. It's actually happening tonight.
Yeah, and it's good that like Aaron Rodgers made his decision and they got that deal done before the draft so they could exchange the picks, but also so that news can get buried away and we don't have to hear about them anymore. From the Green Bay Packers to Gang Green, good luck out there to him. I don't really mean that. Horrible luck to him. I hope they have a dismal season and it all goes to hell in a handbasket. But that's neither here nor there because this is like actual football. And you mentioned something, how it's a little bit different. So let me phrase what do I say? Paint this picture this way. Do the Lions, because of the success that they had last season, do you feel like there's more pressure to get this draft right because they know how close they were last year? Or do you feel like there's not as much pressure maybe in years previous because they have a good enough roster that they might be able to win one or two more games next year than they did this previous year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never actually even thought about, but there's always a lot of pressure. I would say every year, because if a GM wants to keep his job, they have to make a draft pick. But relatively, I think there would be less pressure because I don't think there's any, and Brad Holmes hasn't done this. I don't think he's ever really reached for needs, but that pressure to reach for certain positions or that feeling that you have to come away with certain spots on the roster to fill holes isn't really there. And I think that young core is already established in Detroit, and it's obviously only going to get better with the 5 high draft picks the Lions have. So to me, I think there'd be a little less pressure just because you're truly just picking the players you like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at one position or another. Now, there's obviously needs that aren't as glaring as they have been in years past, and looking at the long-term future, there's a lot of different routes they can go. But to me, it's just if someone slips and it wasn't expecting to be there, you grab the best player available. And that's always kind of been my strategy anyways. But I think even more so this year is you can just grab whoever you want, and it's not going to hurt you this upcoming season. And you have to remember, too, the Lions are getting better. So you're not going to have all these rookies playing a ton. So I keep going back to pick 18. Everyone wants it's a first rounder, and they're saying that you have to have an impact starter there. I'm like, that I don't really feel like that's the case. You look at a lot of these better teams in the later half of the draft, and just because they draft them in the first round doesn't mean they're going to come in right away and just take the league by storm. But truthfully, I just think that would be really nice to have, but it's not so much a necessity as it has been in prior years.
It's so interesting to be picking this far back, right, to have the 18th pick, because that's where they would be sitting had they not made the deal for Matthew Stafford. And then with the Rams tanking the way that they did, that pick at 6, I mean, boy, does that look good. And it is interesting that you bring that up. In that back half of the first round, teams that have made the playoffs, they are kind of adding supplementary guys. Because every time we talk about the draft, I always say your first rounder's got to be your guy that's going to come in there and start and be an impact player day one. But it's a little bit different, as you mentioned, in the back half because you're dealing now with playoff contenders that might have a majority of their roster sort of filled out, and they might have a little bit more leeway with a guy that they want to select there because they know that he doesn't have to come in and start as if you're, choosing in the top, 14 picks of the draft, if you will. Would you like to see in your, I don't know, maybe this is just like a wish, but do you hope that they stay at 6, or would you like to see Brad Holmes maybe move back a couple spots if the deal's sweet enough?
I'm always typically for moving down. The only time I ever wouldn't want to move down is, again, if someone were to slip that you would never expect to be there, like a Will Anderson. I think that's the guy this year. If he's there at 6, I don't think you pass up. But outside of that, pretty much anyone who's still there, I would be fine with trading down as long as you get some decent value. And Brad Holmes, with what he's done with his draft picks, I think the more draft picks, the better for him. So I'd more likely want to move down than I would anything else.
You ran a really good series of polls on the old Twitterverse, and who knows if they're Lions fans or if they're not, because anybody can vote in them. But I really loved the fact that you went, kind of through where you had everybody just you threw out some options. You had everybody voting for it, and I thought it was it's very informative to try to get a gauge of what people are really thinking. Do you think that they go defense with those first 2 selections in the first round?
Just looking at the value of where each position it's a really odd draft class. I don't think it's a very strong draft class, but there are a couple positions that have a lot of depth and a lot of good players, and one of those is cornerback. So at 18, if they don't select a quarterback at 6, I think there's going to be a really good cornerback available at 18, which is kind of what I'm hoping for, just due to the fact that 6, I think it's a reasonable spot to select a cornerback, but I think you can really get another good one at 18. Whereas offense, though, there's not a lot of wide receivers. I don't think they should be taking a wide receiver at pick 18. Bijan Robinson is interesting if he's still there at 18, and I was totally against drafting a running back in the first round, always have been. But again, going back to this weaker draft class, it's tough for me to pass on Robinson if he's there, because I just don't think there's going to be any other players that would be at nearly as good relative to position as he is. So I do believe if I had to put money on it, that would probably be defense, but nothing is going to necessarily surprise me. Again, going back to you don't have to reach or feel like you have to select defense just because you could improve the most on defense.
One of the things that I've been trying to tell Lions fans is that whomever is on Brad Holmes's list, who's ever on their board and wherever they have them ranked, the news about Jameson Williams that is being suspended for the first 6 games of the season for his gambling, that is not going to affect Brad Holmes's board, in my opinion. I don't think that they're going to reach and try to get wide receiver because they took him off the roster for the first month and a half of the season. I don't believe that. Do you think that they could go wide receiver at 18?
No, and it would be a big surprise. And again, it's just going back to looking at the likely receivers who will be available at 18, and I don't think any of them are necessarily going to be towards the top of my personal big board, and a lot of consensus big boards as well. Just the receiver class outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba, it kind of falls off a cliff after that. And there's a lot of really small, really light receivers. Quentin Johnson, he's a big receiver, but he doesn't play like a big receiver, so he's a bit of a question mark. So I don't think the Lions need to feel pressure in the first round. Jameson Williams is he's going to be here past this year. It's going to maybe be a tough six game stretch without him. Marvin Jones, he's going to have to step up, but Josh Reynolds, I think can do the job too. And the Lions, they're going to probably have to rely on their rushing attack a little bit more, which is should be a strength. So I don't think they need to feel like they have to come away with a receiver just because of the suspension. But they long term, they're still going to need a third receiver, because really it's just looking past this year. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, and not a whole lot after that. And you pretty typically have 3 receivers on the field a lot. So it's almost you need a third receiver as a starter eventually, but it's not as important this year as it will be probably next year.
The player that you believe the Lions will draft at number 6, the player that you want them to draft at number 6.
Yeah. So I would like to draft Jamin Carter, and I know there's plenty of concern. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, let's get into it. Come on. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah. So I think the Lions are at a point where to really take their defense to the next level, if they had an elite defensive tackle or just some sort of interior lineman who can get to the quarterback and be disruptive, it's going to help their entire team a ton. It's going to help their pass rush, their edge defenders are going to have more sacks. If the Lions in the lead, you kind of have to build your team almost like in that way where if the Lions do have some leads, the opponents are going to be passing the ball a lot more. So you're going to have more sack opportunities. And I understand the concerns with Jalen Carter, but there's concerns with just about every player that's going to be there at 6. And unfortunately, I don't know Jalen Carter, and I just hear reports and the question marks that he has, and I think they're valid. But from an on-the-field standpoint, it's just you look at what he does, and he's hands down the best football player in this draft. And to be able to get him at 6, you would hope that maybe the Lions culture, this strong culture that they have built, would be able to bring him along and make sure he's doing the right things and to get the most out of him. I just think, it's obviously, I feel a little conflicted about it because you've seen those big defensive tackles that might not have the right mindset, and they can be really good when they want to, and then other times taking plays off. So, yeah, to me, I just feel like Jalen Carter's the best player in this draft, and you can get him at 6. I think he's worth the risk.
Wow, man. Okay, so that's the guy you want them to take. Who do you think they will take?
I just did my latest and final mock draft, and I had him taking Devin Witherspoon, who definitely fits the character I would say the Lions look for. Just as a corner, he's just looking to hit people, and he's not the biggest corner in the world. He doesn't have the best speed, but in terms of his grittiness and his ball hawking ability, it's all there. And so again, it's not like he's a perfect prospect, but I really like what he's done on film, and I think it definitely matches up well with that personality that the Lions look for.
Yeah, and he is he's a violent player. He's a hammer. He's going to come down. He wants to hit people, and he wants to hit them hard, and we like that. So it'll be very interesting. Now, where and if and when do the Lions look at quarterback?
Yeah, so honestly, at 6, the way it's starting to seem like the draft could shake out, where there's going to be one of the top 4 quarterbacks, maybe even 2 potentially at pick 6. And we've had this debate how many times about drafting a quarterback. And, you're looking at Goff's contract. He still has 2 more years on, a relatively cheap deal. It's not the biggest contract in the world, but I don't think the Lions are going to have an opportunity to draft another quarterback again. And ever since, this new regime came in, I always said year 3 would be the time I'd be comfortable with taking a quarterback. But Goff definitely changed my perspective a little bit on the necessity of drafting a quarterback. I don't think by any means they have to at 6, but if there's a quarterback there that they really like, and you're going to have that 5 years of a rookie contract as a quarterback, and you're not going to be held at gunpoint by Jared Goff demanding $50 million a year for having some good seasons, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But if Goff's around for 2 years, you're essentially wasting 2 years of that rookie contract as well from the quarterback. So I'm not ruling out at 6, and I'm not even going to say that I'd be upset if they took a quarterback at 6, because I understand long term. But at 6, I would prefer just to have someone who could make a bigger impact more this year, because that's kind of the expectations that are set when you're drafting that high in the draft.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of the thing too. I think a lot of times we get caught up in, we want to look down the road. We want to build towards the future. And then sometimes I feel like there are certain times in certain sports, and obviously it doesn't happen for the Lions because we've been building for the future for how many years, but you realize the NFL window is open and it closes so quickly. And the teams that can figure it out and find that sustained success, I mean, that's the one thing everybody's chasing, right? Everybody wants to get there. Okay, so then I have to ask you about the QBs. Like, who do you think would be at the top of your shopping list? And we'll say that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are both off the board. Who's on your list?
Well, that's the interesting thing, is I think C.J. Stroud might be there.
Ooh,
and so that's
badass 2 score. I just read about that last night. Badass 2. I'm starting to wonder, you're not a really good S2 score? Brock Purdy, we're talking like top 90th percentile or whatever. Like he was elite, like Drew Brees level. And I'm like, okay, that explains why they won some playoff games.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of this S2 scores. I mean, they just don't have the long-term data there yet to really support it in my mind. And you want a smart quarterback, but again, it's not like the Wonderlic test. It's pretty different than what the Wonderlic was. So I think that might be overblown a tad bit. And then I also heard that the scores that were leaked might not even be accurate. So I don't know what to make of that. But C.J. Stroud, to me, I think he could be an upgrade over Jared Goff. I don't know if he does anything elite, but he does have some really good accuracy. And honestly, he's been compared to Jared Goff before, like when Jared Goff is playing well. So again, in my mock draft, I had C.J. Stroud being passed up by the Lions, and that's kind of how I probably think and hope that it'll go. But Anthony Richardson would be my next guy, and that's just because of his traits. I haven't seen anything like it before. I think he has a lower floor, but given his running ability, I think that raises his floor. And in terms of arm talent, he has that, but it's just the whole accuracy thing. And Josh Allen has skewed everyone's expectations for an inaccurate quarterback on that it's just going to be easily fixed, and that doesn't always happen. But Richardson can make all the throws. He can make tight window throws. It's just, it's a big gamble, but it could pay off, or it could bite you in the behind. But so my rankings kind of go that way, where I still have C.J. Stroud and Richardson right next to each other, really. And then, Levis, I'm just not super high on, and I don't think I would even consider that. And it doesn't sound like the Lions would be either if he's there.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that one either. He's like this year's Zach Wilson to me. I just don't see or feel what the national pundits do. His name is Logan Lamorandier. He is an X's and Bros pundit here on the Michigan Sports Network. Find his work, all Lions coverage, all the time, at Logan Lamorandier, or at L Lamorandier, I should say, on the Twitterverse. Logan, man, it's so great to hear your voice. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning, and enjoy tonight's 2023 first round of the NFL Draft.
Oh, thanks for having me. You as well. And I wish we had more time to talk. So many things to talk about.
NFL playoffs means big hoops action over at DraftKings, and you can get on all the action right now. Just sign up, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in the excitement every night. Make a $5 pregame moneyline bet. Score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open up the app, opt in, and place the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Hour 3 next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
In the den. Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
It's been a rather unique first few weeks for the Tigers that has kept fans hopeful. This is a team that's gone into Houston and won a series. It beat Cleveland in a home set and just handed the Brewers a home series loss that included Milwaukee's first one-run loss of the year. The key has been the consistent bullpen. Now, this was the strength of the team last season, and after losing 3 key pieces, started as a big question mark this year. The new faces, though, have responded, and since the middle of April, collectively, it has the best earned run average and whip in the league. Only time will tell if it can continue, but it's been encouraging so far.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100 grand. Whirl in for $100,000 money wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Let me get that guy in here first. Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Kaelin, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, or how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well, from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program. Open lines, 8:35 this morning. Last call for the draft picks. Golf season's here. Matt Golden and his team, all my buddies up there at Tullymore, they're ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's up north golf without the drive. And smack dab in the middle of the state. Great location, so no matter where you're coming from, it's quick to get to. Tullymore not only features top-line golfing experiences, but also top-of-the-line accommodations, the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com is the website. 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837 is the phone number. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Wow, some epic music for Tullymore there. Draft season is here. Today is the big day. Already getting the messages. In Brad Holmes we trust. I understand. I'm going to put this out there on Twitter too. All your favorite, everybody's on the board. If everybody's on the board, who are you taking? That's all I want to know. At number 6, number 18,
Big Willie style.
Things get a little hairy. Big Willie style. I assume that's Will Anderson. Yes.
Could mean Will Levis. I don't. Will Anderson. God, but if Will Levis if Will Levis is picked by the Detroit Lions, I'm a Browns fan.
Whoa. Relax.
Nope.
Relax. Don't go that far. I know some people that want to turn us into the Browns.
It's how much I don't want him or Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, you know what? I'm out a little bit. I'm all the way out on Levis, and I'm out a little bit on Richardson. And I'll tell you why. Because if the mechanics there to throw the football, if the mechanics are there and he can sling it, and you can correct that under Mark Brunell, then okay. But you know me. I need you to complete passes at the collegiate level. Like, Florida's nothing to write home about. This might be a little Colton Pouncey sway here. He really likes Anthony Richardson. I'm unsure about that. Especially knowing that due to the contract at quarterback, I know you want to build for the future. Well, they'll never get the pick at 6 again. We don't know that, first off. And secondly, we've seen Brad Holmes willing to wheel and deal a little bit. That's correct, but you can't say that he sucks. I don't say he doesn't suck. All right, can we get over that?
Just have concerns.
And this, I think this is in regards to Trey Lance. Trey Lance has completed 15 passes last year in 2 games. One of them was an interception, so that doesn't count as a completion. The year before, 41 completions, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, if you're not available to play, you don't mean anything to me. There's no sense, like, it look good on paper. Kawhi Leonard looks great on paper. Kawhi Leonard's never available to play. Like, I need guys out there. Injury history, it hurts. It's not great.
We do owe a small apology to Kawhi Leonard.
Why is that?
Because he's actually hurt.
I don't believe that he's not actually hurt when he says that he's hurt. Like, I really don't. I just need you to get out on the court. People can't keep telling me this guy's this great player if you're only playing 50 games a year. Like, that's not, the season's 82 games long. It's unfortunate you continue to get hurt over and over and over, and it's unfortunate you have to go through the rehab process. And whatever happened there in San Antonio, where the docs were like, hey, you're good to go, and he's like, no, I'm not. Like, then you have that argument, and everything just blows up from there. S2 is overblown from Double L. Logan Lamorandier wants to see more data from it. Don't we all? Thank goodness a media member said it about a quarterback at 6, not a designer fan. I still don't want a quarterback at 6. How many? Do I need to say it again, or are we good? You know where I stand.
No, unless my mock draft from months ago came true.
Uh-oh. What was your mock draft?
Will Anderson at 6. Bryce Young fell to 18. So I was able to get both. Got Jaden Reed in the 3rd. Got Jake Moody in the 6th. It all worked out. I'll have to go dig it up and retweet it.
Everyone's on the board. Who are you taking at number 6? That's all I want to know. Everyone's on the board. Who's your selection? Because I think that's a little bit more wide open. We don't have to worry about this, that, and the third. We could just keep it. Everybody's available. Who do you want? What's number 1 on your grocery list? I thought it was surprising that Logan, a lot of risk reward here with Jalen Carter. I was actually, that one caught me. That one took me back a little bit. Whoa, double L. What do we got going on here? Terry says, I don't have a clue who the Lions will draft. I'm confident they will be better and a more solid team when it's over. On a side note, playing some midday golf today. Temp should be 55 to 60 degrees. Bring your cart mittens. 55 degrees is only 23 degrees above freezing. Put your cart mittens on. But if everybody's, that's it. You can respond back to the tweet. That's all I want to know. Who are you taking if everyone is available on the board? Is it Will Anderson? Is it Tyree Wilson? A guy that we haven't really talked a whole lot about. We mentioned his name a few times. I'm kind of interested in him. I am, especially if Anderson and Carter go early. Then does that kind of make it does that make it, I don't want to say.
No, I don't. I don't think Carter will go early. I think if he's going to get drafted in the top 6, it will be at 6.
Tyree Wilson of Texas Tech is the 4th ranked best prospect according to ESPN. Number 4 overall. The only guys ahead of him, Will Anderson, Bijan Robinson, and Bryce Young. 6'6", 270. Aiden on one side, Tyree on the other side. Are we able to get maybe a little interior line later on? Well, right in the middle there at 18. Do we find ourselves with Kalijah Cansey out of Pitt? Could that be the next Aaron Donald in the waiting? So then you have Wilson and Hutchinson alongside McNeil and Cansey. Your 5 DBs, Rodrigo and Anzalone. I mean, if they went D-line, and then think about the rotation you could have with John Kaminsky and James Houston. Oh, my goodness. Big Isaiah Bugs. Man, I'm excited. By the way, I believe Aleem McNeil is hosting a draft party tonight. I believe so. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I know that we'll have Jared Goff today or later on this evening. I know that for a fact, so I'll be sure to share all of Freddie's commentary with him. But I'm going to check and see who our other on-site. Oh, James Mitchell and Kirby Joseph will join us up on the stage this later on this evening at Ford Field. So we'll get to talk to those two, and then we'll get to talk to Jared Goff as well joining us. And man, I am excited about that. All right, we're going to step aside. No word from Ted. Oh man, Ted might have missed his alarm. He's in Central Time. I get it. Maybe he's doing more radio. Who knows? Okay, Martin O'Donnell will join us from Illinois. Could the Lions select Devin Witherspoon? Will he be there at number 6? Is he going to be the selection? We'll learn about him next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for Roast Umber Coffee. It's a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And their Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option with no sugar or additives. So if you want a great coffee or energy drink to power you through your morning and your day, it's available in ground or whole bean or in cans. More information on the website and direct delivery to your door at roastumber.com.
The 1-2. Right side, there it is! Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
That's the sound right there, folks. We're all looking forward to hearing later on this evening at 8 o'clock when the Detroit Lions make their selection, which is going to be roughly 8:42 this evening. Just throwing that out there. Not like I know anything. I'm just putting that out there for you. So adjust your dinner schedule accordingly. Good to go? All right, that's fantastic to hear. That's Dan and Ryan. I'm Anthony. Joining us on the phone right now covering the Illinois Fighting Illini. Let's welcome in Martin O'Donnell. Martin, my friend, good morning to you, partner. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Doing great. Life is good. NFL draft day, and U of I's got somebody on the board there at the top of it, which it's been a little while. So all good here.
We are very, very excited, and a lot of mock drafts for Lions fans. That's why we're reaching out to see, okay, well, who might still be on the board there at number 6 if things kind of fall our way. Secondary is a position of need. Tell us, we know that when we see Devon Witherspoon, we know that he will go up and hit somebody. Like, he is a violent tackler. He likes the contact. We like that. It just so happens he wears the same number in college as our defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, wore in college, as the same as our new defensive backs coach, Dre Bly, wore in college. Could it be destined? Tell us, who is Devon Witherspoon?
You know what? I mean, Spoon is a competitor. I mean, he's a kid. He's somewhat undersized. I can't remember what he weighed in at the combine, maybe 180, but he's the kind of guy where he got significantly better year over year. But the one thing that was always there was, I mean, if you want a player that plays his tail off, play in and play out, loves the challenge of going up against, the opposing offense's best receiver, I mean, that's Spoon. And you mentioned it. I mean, there are multiple examples, a ton of examples, especially of this past season, of just the explosiveness, and the play recognition and his ability to just come up and hit people. Again, he's not the biggest guy out there, but when you talk about competitive spirit, and you talk about somebody who likes to play, man-to-man coverage, likes to get right up in, right up on the toes of the opposing team's best receiver. I mean, that's Devon Witherspoon, and he's been a ton of fun to cover for the past 4 years, and I'm just really excited for him and for his family at the opportunity that's in front of him tonight.
I like that we could just call him Spoon if he comes to us. We don't have to worry about any other syllables. Just call him Spoon. I love that. Is the size thing at his position with weighing in at 181? Is that much of a concern, or is this something that maybe the pundits on the outside are making a big deal of? Do you think that like weighing a little bit less hurts going up against NFL receivers? And then we act like everybody out there is Calvin Johnson when there's a lot of like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. There's some thinner frame guys out there.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. It was exactly the point that I was going to make. Is I think if you look at the receivers in the NFL, year over year, right, there's not a ton of guys out there built like Calvin Johnson anymore. Some of that is because of the spread offense, but some receivers are smaller. But I don't care. Measurables certainly matter, but I think to me, height and weight. If you're generally in the range of where you should be, and I think Spoon is there. It's really about the football player, and when you want an intelligent, smart football player that just goes out there and plays the game of football really, really well, to me, that's always going to carry the day, and that's Spoon.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's absolutely what I'm looking for. I want football players, and this is a team in the Detroit Lions that have added some secondary help. They ended up trading away Jeff Okudah, the Atlanta Falcons, for a 5th-round pick, but they did add some guys at corner and at safety as well, so you feel kind of confident, and it's like, okay, that's great and all, but a lot of these guys are on one-year prove-it deals to where, if you're able to get a guy like Spoon here at pick number 6, this is a guy that you can at least have on your team on paper for a couple of years, unlike everybody else in our secondary, which I'm very excited about. And then the other thing about his weight, people act like he's not going to gain any weight. What's like the guy's going to lose weight playing NFL football? No, he's probably going to be 6 foot 190 by the end of this thing, or wherever he is comfortable at playing, and whatever doesn't slow him down. I think that's great. I think he's a really good fit for Aaron Glenn's defense here. But I think Lions fans, Martin, I think that they're a little jaded because of Jeff Okudah, right? And we selected him at number 3 overall. We were hoping he was going to turn into Sauce Gardner. He didn't, and now he is no longer with the team. So if you were talking to a Lions fan about Devon Witherspoon, what would be your advice to kind of block out that weird feeling we sort of kind of have about taking a corner high because of the Okudah experiment?
Yeah, look, no, I get it. I think, I think every draft is its own, every year is its own. I look at another guy in the Lions secondary in Kirby Joseph, and I think he's a guy that outperformed his draft stock last year. And I think he's somebody that, the Illinois secondary, if you look at the draft this year, Illinois is going to have 3 players from their secondary selected in the NFL draft. And I think some of these guys, their best football is still ahead of them. They did a really great job. Devin Witherspoon really came on the past couple of years. The other 2 guys in the Illinois secondary that are going to get drafted probably, somewhere between rounds 2 and 4 are Sidney Brown and Quan Martin. And, Kirby Joseph was also a guy that really came on at the end of his career. So I think you just got to look at, I'm a Bears fan, right? I mean, the old NFC Central, the black and blue division. I mean, I want him on the Bears, to be honest. I hope the Lions don't take him, and I hope the Bears take him at 9. But, Devin Witherspoon is a tough, hard-nosed kid who loves the game of football. He's going to talk about it when he makes a big hit. And, again, he's not just a hitter. I mean, he's a guy that can really just play incredibly tight man-to-man coverage. And, look, there's all kinds of things that can happen in the game of football and in life in general. But when you take somebody who loves the game of football, who works their tail off, I mean, his story is incredible. The more you look at it and read about it, almost didn't qualify out of high school, went to junior college. Illinois was his only Power 5 offer, a 0-star recruit. I mean, to me, that's a hard-nosed guy that I want on the football team that I'm cheering for. So I'm really excited to see wherever he goes. And, hopefully for Lions fans, he ends up with you. But if they don't, then I hope the Bears take him at 9.
And you know what? Because, obviously it's a little strange. Sorry about the whole David Montgomery thing. You being a Bears fan, I get it. I understand. We thank you for Kirby Joseph. He is actually the one responsible for breaking Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people want to talk about it was the front office's fault. No, it was Big Kirby Joseph, and we'll get Kirby Joseph on the stage with us later on tonight at the Lions draft party at Ford Field. So I'm excited to be able to sit down and talk with him a little bit. And we know he's been pretty vocal. He wants his old running mate on the team. He wants Spoon, so I love it. Is there one specific play, and I know this is a crazy question, or a moment that really sticks out to you with Devin Witherspoon that you're like, hey, Lions fans, guess what? You want to see there was this happened, and if you watch that will sell you on this guy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me. It was Illinois' second game of the season this fall. Illinois beat Wyoming in kind of a week 0 game, then played week 2 on the road at Indiana on a Friday night. And it was either the first or the second play of Indiana's offensive night. And they just go and throw a little flare screen out to the flat. And Devin Witherspoon's in man-to-man coverage. He reads it and then just goes and absolutely obliterates, the Indiana Hoosier, receiver. And that to me, second game of the year, that to me told me, okay, this is a different Devin Witherspoon. And he did that time and time again. If you go and you watch him, play Michigan, Illinois took Michigan down to the wire in Ann Arbor this past fall. And, Devin Witherspoon had a tremendous game there, made some incredible plays. And, but it's really that Indiana play where it's recognition, it's explosiveness, and then it's just power. Again, you can talk about weight and height all you want, but, functional strength and power are obviously incredibly important in the game of football. And that to me really stood out as a play. It was jarring, and that's a great one to watch. It'll certainly be on his draft highlight tape tonight.
Oh, no doubt. I think I know the exact play that you're talking about because in my mind I was like, don't throw a flag for that. That's a football play. Like,
exactly.
don't give me any of this defenseless receiver nonsense. That guy's a football player. And that's that Michigan game. It was like 18 degrees. There was a little bit of precipitation. Witherspoon is running all over the field. We couldn't throw the ball worth a lick. I was down there with like 2 pairs of socks and hand warmers. It was terrible. It was just absolutely terrible, Martin. Luckily, we escaped out of that. His name, Martin O'Donnell. You can find him on Twitter at MartinOD64, radio analyst for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Maybe we'll have 2 Illini secondary members on the Lions roster at 9 o'clock this evening. Martin, thank you so much for your time today, partner. We greatly appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Really excited about Spoon. And I tell you what, you can hear the excitement. When you hear the excitement in the voice of somebody who spent a long time covering him, that's a very, very good sign. We'll step aside. We're back with more X's and Bros, taking your phone calls next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Godsmack, live and in your face. Friday, May 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino, plus Bad Wolves. And same show, same night, Bullet for My Valentine. Tickets start at $28, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. Godsmack, May 26th. Part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
guest line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. So great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Reminder, the NBA playoffs mean big hoops action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Get in on all the excitement every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score with the no-sweat same-game parlays every day during the playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Opt in, place the same game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. And for more coverage on the Detroit Lions and the draft, stay tuned to the Michigan Sports Network later on this afternoon for the Huge Show with Bill Simonson. You can catch that from 3 to 6 on our affiliated stations and also on the iHeart Radio app and at MichiganSportsNetwork.com. Okay, so what if there's a wrinkle here? And here's the wrinkle, right, of all the mock drafts. What if, because Kyler Murray said something, and he said after the visit with Paris Johnson, offensive lineman of Ohio State, that he likes him and likes him a lot. What does that mean? I don't know if they would move. That's the thing with Peter Skoronski, right? So if Skoronski is available at 18 in whatever universe we're living in here, do the Lions take him because he is more of a natural fit? He played tackle at Northwestern, but is he more of a natural fit for guard? And even though they just got Graham Glasgow, and we assume that Hal Vaitai, big Halapulavati Vaitai, will be available. They did lose Evan Brown, who was a pivotal part of an offensive line that constantly played musical chairs throughout the season. And I know it's not sexy. I know it's not. But at the same time, if you have somebody to pair on the opposite side of Jonah Jackson with Ragnow anchoring the middle and your bookends on the outside with Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell, is that a direction you would go? Very, very interesting. Very interesting. You have Paris Johnson, has experience throughout the offensive line, both tackle spots. He's played inside at guard. So that versatility is the versatility there. I mean, if Lions fans can attest to anything, it's like, dude, if you can get a guy that can play a little tackle, can play a little guard, can do a little bit of everything. You know, Evan Brown play a little guard, play a little center. Could we see a guy like Paris Johnson, the number 1 or 2 offensive tackle, depending on, you know, what you're watching here? Peter Skoronski ranked by ESPN higher as the 9th best overall player. Paris Johnson at tackle listed at number 2 at that position, number 12 as the best overall player. And even though Skoronski's listed as a tackle, the natural position and fit for him from all accounts is to switch him inside to guard. Could we see a situation where the Arizona Cardinals at pick number 3 go Paris Johnson? Could you do that? You got to have an offensive line. I don't care who you are. You can't have quarterbacks out here going all willy-nilly on us without any protection for them. And that's honestly why I liked C.J. Stroud more than I liked Justin Fields. Like C.J. Stroud more than I liked any quarterback really under Urban Meyer, is because, you know, C.J. Stroud is fabulous with the football, throwing on target. I mean, the guy is he throws a great football. And that's very attractive to me because I don't need guys out there that are running around like a bunch of crazy people in college because they're just a better athlete. That's concerning. So Paris Johnson goes up. How does that change the draft board? How does that change the mock drafts? Oh. All right, let's get to the phone line. Meyer Supercenter guest line. Open calls. We want to know what you think. 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. Who we got up there first, Dan?
Maury in Kentwood.
Maury in Kentwood. We'll call this Thursdays with Maury. How are you, my friend?
My man, how's it going, dude? I love draft talk. You know what I mean? It's fun, but it's way funner when your team is like looking the way our team is for the first time in many a year for this guy. So, I just wanted to call and say, dude, in Brad Holmes, I trust. So whatever they do, even if it surprises me, and as a fan, hey, I want to go heavy defense. You know what I mean? Because I think our offense right now, AB, is good enough to win a Super Bowl if you can come up with a Raven-esque type defense. And I know that's a lot, okay? I know we're talking about Hall of Famers on that Ravens team. But at the time, they didn't know. We didn't know they were Hall of Famers until it emerged. You know what I mean? And we got some pieces, and maybe if we could build that killer defense, our offense is tight. But whatever they choose to do, I trust them. I think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, at least from where I sit, dude, they look like they're in lockstep. And, man, we just got to stay away from, silliness like J-Mo. But I trust him.
I trust him, too. Can you imagine a draft in which – Will Anderson goes early, so Witherspoon falls to us. Now we have a corner that's under contract, a big physical, nasty 6-footer, wants to go out there and just lay the wood on people, and then go get a Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh, the defensive lineman, who by all accounts, I mean, people love him. I didn't watch a whole lot of Pitt football this year. 6'1", 281, that's his measurements, and they love him on the interior. That would be something. So now you've got secondary, boom, addressed, defensive line, boom, addressed. You feel pretty good on where you're at. Off the edge, you get Cansey in there with Lee McNeil. I think we're on to something, but I love that in Brad Holmes we trust, because I think he has definitely earned some respect from Lions fans with the way that he has been able to find some diamonds in the rough. So, Maury, man, I appreciate the phone call this morning, partner. Enjoy the festivities tonight.
You bet, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Freddie the Pizza Man, I just want to know, Rory was so excited. He wanted to know if he got your approval for the Kennedy stuff yesterday, and if so, would that equate to a pizza?
I love Rory. As a matter of fact, I love him so much, I think he should host a show a couple days a week here.
Oh. Well, I'll pitch that to him, see what he thinks. He's probably listening right now, probably getting yelled at by my uncle.
Rory, I thought you were Rory. That's why I met you were hosting the show. Do I got the wrong Rory?
Never mind. Don't worry about it. Let it slide.
I love you, AZ. I love you. Look at. See what?
Hey, that was a really nice picture with you and Coach Izzo last night, by the way. I saw it circulating around the internet. I said, "Oh, ladies, watch out, Freddie."
I tell you. Ryan, you're a lucky guy to have a coach like that. I'll tell you, what a great man, and what a great night, and the Tyrone Wheatley, my guy, the best Michigan player of all time, sitting kitty corner to me, and I went up to him. I said, Tyrone, you ate pizza rolls at my dad's pizzeria in the '80s. You know that, right? And I'm like, you're the greatest Michigan football player of all time, right? He had this big grin on his face, and Blake Corum was. Are you there?
That was great. I'm all for it. Yeah, no, I love it. It was what was the event? Something about like the NIL space?
Yeah, Blake Corum was up there speaking, and man, Blake Corum, he's short, boy, but he's powerful. He got some legs to him, boy. But he's short.
You didn't want to call and get me. I could have gone with you. Not saying I'm your date or a +1, but it could have been like I could have drove you there or something. What's the matter with you?
No media was allowed there. The other radio station was kicked out when the event started. So after being on air, they kicked the media guys out. So it was kind of cool. So I will say this. I was in the elevator with this Michigan legend. I will not bring up his name, but he was double-fisted with one beer in one hand and one drink in the other hand. I'm like, man, I know this guy. Who is this guy? Then I realized who he was. He was a Michigan legend. He was double fisted yesterday. I thought, man, I like that kind of guy. That's my kind of guy. Anyway.
Yeah, let's be real humans, right? Let's be real humans. All right, Freddie, so everybody's available. That's the question today. Everybody's available at number 6. Who do you want? You can't go wrong with whatever your answer is.
Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're not going to talk about my guy because we're not going to. I get it. We don't want to talk quarterback because I don't want to ruin this phone call. Here's what I would do. They don't want to take quarterback. I'm with Double L. I wouldn't mind Jalen Carter, but let's just say the Lions are going to stay away from Jalen Carter because of what's happened with J-Mo. Here's what I would do. Since I want quarterback, we're not going to talk quarterback. Let's make Jared Goff better. How do we make him better? Go get Paris Johnson. Whether at 6 or you trade down, go get Paris Johnson because I think he's a stud. And who's going to know more about Paris Johnson than Chris Spielman? Nobody. You bring in Paris Johnson, you strengthen that line, and then in the second, third, fourth round, you go get yourself a running back or two, maybe Ibrahim from Minnesota. There's a couple other guys out there. And that's how you make Jared Goff a better quarterback. You build on your strength, you build that line, and you build a great running game. And I would use the heck out of Swift this year, just run his legs off because you won't be here next year. And then later in the first round, you go get yourself. I would take Mozzie Smith at 18. I would take him that high because I think he would make such a big difference in the middle of that line. He would actually make your linebackers that much better. So I would go Paris Johnson and Mozzie Smith at 6 and 18. That's what I would do. Strengthen the interior line. Can't go wrong with that.
Well, games won in the trenches. If that's what you want, that's what you want. Hey, Freddie, enjoy the festivities tonight, would you?
Hey, you too, buddy. Don't forget to give Jared Goff a nice kiss on both sides of the cheek, okay? Like the Godfather, all right?
That's right.
See you, buddy.
All right, partner. Let's get to Danny and Bright wants to talk a little Lions football as well. By the way, fellas, I found the clip that I was searching for with Witherspoon, the one that Martin O'Donnell just referenced in Game 2 against Indiana. I think that's the one, so I just want to confirm with him. Danny, what's going on, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you what, having to follow up Freddie, I mean, who can do that in this day and age?
Nobody.
Nobody. So, in a rare moment, I sort of agree with Freddie, but I don't. I think we should do things to make Jared Goff better, but I don't think it's via the offensive line. I really think that we need a running back because while I like the idea of running DeAndre Swift until, his legs fall off, they're going to fall off really early. I have no confidence that guy's going to play 17 games, let alone 10 games. I just don't. But I don't want a running back I don't want him at 6. I'd only take him at 18 if there's one guy there. But I told Dan, I think we're trading out of 6. I don't know that there is a player there that will make us stay there like Hutchinson last year. I think that there's enough teams that want certain guys, let's say like Paris Johnson or, maybe Freddie's favorite quarterback or somebody that they're willing to trade up to 6. And I don't think that Brad Holmes really cares about drafting 6. I don't think there's a guy he loves there. I just don't.
Wow. Okay. It's interesting.
And there's not a guy that I really love there either. I mean, I like Witherspoon, but one of the comments about him, I was listening to a guy named Michael Lombardi who was on Rome yesterday, and he said 2 things about Witherspoon. 1, his size is a little off, but 2, is his really rough physical play. Are they going to let that happen in the NFL? And that I don't know, because that's actually a good point.
See, look at all these old powder puffs that got all the rules changed. That's what happened. And when the kids never changed, it was the parents that changed. Look at him. Look at Mike trying to soften the league. Well, what's he want next? Participation trophies? Come on.
We're all going to have flags. So, I like Witherspoon because I think he's kind of like I think he's a Campbell kind of guy, but I mean, in the quarterback universe, so's Christian Gonzalez, and he's faster and he's taller. So, and I don't know what the intangibles are. Like I said, I just know that there's nothing at 6 where I'm like, ooh, got to have that guy. And, when I was talking to my boy, the Bowler King, Dan, he's like, well, I'll kind of take Jalen Carter. I'm like, I just can't. I cannot take that guy with that character, especially, after you had, Mo do his dumbass thing. I don't need anybody else doing any dumbass things. We don't need any more of that. I am allowed to say that, right? I don't want to get USDA'd like the boy on the west side.
Yeah, Scott, 2-week suspension, man, tough. He wrote me the other day. It was like
he called earlier and begged for forgiveness.
Forgiveness. All right, so let's say Young goes 1 to Carolina. Texas, the Houston Texans mess around, and they go with C.J. Stroud at 2. The Cardinals take Paris, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, at 3. The Colts take Will Levis at 4. Then you're left with Jalen Carter and Will Anderson for the Seahawks and the Lions. If Will Anderson's at 6, you still want to trade back?
Yes, and this is another thing, and I think this as well. And Michael Marty said this yesterday. He goes, I think that Will Anderson has been living off his hype more than off of his game. And I did watch a few Alabama games last year, and he was good against Kansas State. But there were a lot of games where he was just okay, and I don't know that he's the guy. So when Aiden Hutchinson, 2 years ago when he was there, he was the guy.
Got the snot kicked out of him by Georgia?
Well, who didn't?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it's kind of the same principle, right? Guy had a rough game. He had a rough outing.
Yeah.
Then he went to the NFL and said, okay, that's fine. But now you got Aiden on one side, you bring in Will Anderson off the other. Oh, my God. Come on.
So,
Danny and Bright, man, appreciate the call this morning. Thank you, my friend.
Dude, peace, guys.
There he goes. Want to get to some of these responses here real quick. Doug McGreedy says, could be McGreedy, could be McGrady. It's Anderson all day, Anthony. Would love them to trade up and get him. I think his defensive game changes. Defensive game changer we've never had. I can't read, not a big deal. Pete Schneider says, Anderson. Brand new Lions says, hoping one of the quarterbacks fall and we can get a killer trade down. Otherwise, hoping for Anderson or Wilson. Adam Seguin says, Will Anderson Jr. Big Joe Marsiglia, Will Anderson is the guy I want if everyone is still available. Straight stud. At UM Marvel, and his name is Walmart. He said Jake Moody, no matter what. So that's good little tongue in cheek there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be, who knows what happens, whether they trade back, whether they get the guy, whether they don't get the guy, whether they miss or they hit an absolute home run. We'll discuss it tomorrow morning. For our friends over at Tullymore Golf Resort, golf season right around the corner. Going to get some great weather this weekend. Now's a great time to book your stay and play at Tullymore. Call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. And you can play at Tullymore. You can play at St. Ives. You can play 36 in one day. Or you can spread it out over a couple of days and stay right there on site. It's beautiful. Visit TullymoreGolf.com for more information. TullymoreGolf.com, and go see my buddy Matt Golden at Tullymore. For Danny Cahalan and Ryan Elke, I'm Anthony Bellino. So long. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
Got any plans for Mental Health Action Day? You do now. Join us online on Thursday, May 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. for In Tune, a free live stream event featuring performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to find out how you can log in and join the celebration for free. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day. Take action. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org and join the celebration.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.